Hello, everyone. We are back at Beneath the Witch's Hat. Today is a day for seconds.
So,
I think this is the only one we repeated.
Me.
Yeah, first for Sahar.
First for Sahar, but our second time, so we're super excited. So let's go. Here we are at Beneath the Witch's Hat again. This is our second year coming back. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, thank you for coming back. I'm very happy about that. I was excited when I got the email for sure.
Yay. So this is Miss Tammy Lynn. Others may know her as the Witch, who is the mastermind behind Beneath the Witch's Hat. So we will start with you just telling us a bit about yourself, in case anyone maybe hasn't seen our last episode with you.
All right. Well, as you said, some people know me as the Witch or the Witch Beneath the Hat. And this is my little shop. This is my happy place where I love to share my passion with people of like mind.
Beautiful. Thank you. And how has your last year been?
Pretty darn good, honestly. It really has. I've been so very blessed to have this space and this amazing opportunity. And I'm super grateful for these things, right? And to give the community a safe place, really. There's a lot of judgment out there in the world by a lot of people. And this is just a safe place for the community to be able to maybe just come in and cry, or find their magical needs for their own practice. And I like to run a space that is open to many belief systems. It's not just what I believe. I'm here just for a number of people, and I have an amazing community, super supportive, and I appreciate that, and I'm super grateful.
Yeah. Where do you think that judgment comes from, that society can carry so?
Right from there, society. Society and media have left so many people with, well, for lack of better words, a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to the word witch, right? There's got to be something bad about it. It really isn't, right? For the majority of us, we're just healers. We just want to make you feel better, and and maybe help guide you into your own belief system, which isn't necessarily always practicing potions and spells, right? There's way more to it, like making bath soaks and teas to help you sleep, right? There's just so much more than what media and society has led people to believe.
Would that idea of there being so much more than society has led you to believe be like the biggest misconception you think there is about witches?
Definitely. I very much understand cultural differences. I very much understand that. And the more that people get to know me in the community, it's surprising how many different cultures have come into my space and have, took a look around and went, oh my goodness, I would have never thought that you had Buddhas in here, for just as an example, right? And then next thing you know, many different people are coming in. And I love this because it's also very educational for myself to learn different things from other cultures, as well as teaching them that witch is just a word, just like it's just a hat.
That's a big thing that stuck with me from our conversation last year, the idea of it's just a hat.
Yeah.
Because I remember you'd mentioned like a cowboy hat or a baseball cap.
Because if it was one of those things, nobody would treat me any different. And not that I get heckled a whole lot or anything like that, but you'll see the odd person when I'm out in public, and they'll say, oh, I didn't realize it was Halloween, or didn't know I was going to a costume party. And it's like, well, I didn't know it. We were either. I had to dress up. What do you say?
Yeah. Especially because you're just living your life and you're not actually in their space, which I think is such a funny idea of how people can impose their opinions on other people.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
that is exactly right. And as I said, when most people sit down and talk with me, they realize that it's just a hat.
It is just a hat.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't say it in any, I don't say that to be offensive to any other like-minded person that wears a hat. There's a reason that people of like mind do wear their hat. Not just to cover up their hair, right? It also has a lot to do with, this is where our knowledge is. This is where we store that, right? So it is a symbolism. It is a piece of armor, if you will. But again, it's just a hat. My dad wore a cowboy hat.
Mm-hmm.
That was his armor, that and his belt buckle.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think if people were able to, I don't know, maybe remove the judgment or put themselves in, underneath the hat,
That's
and just
right.
kind of accept that other people can live their lives differently,
That's
the world
exactly
would
it. Yeah.
be a happier place.
Yeah.
But I think it's beautiful that you can provide a safe space for people wearing any hat.
That's exactly right. This is a space of the least amount of judgment that I know of in the city. Mm-hmm. And definitely one of the safest places that I know of. As I may have mentioned last year, that I've told many people, if you feel unsafe in the community, come in and lock the door. That's what alarm systems are for, is to protect you.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that, or sorry, not do you think, is that the reason why you wanted to open Beneath the Witch's Hat, is to provide that safe space, or is that just something that's kind of happened?
Oh, definitely. I definitely wanted to give that safe place. Again, for all of the communities, I'm super non-judgmental. I have no right to judge people, mostly because I've been judged in my life. Whether it was tattoos or what my hair looks like or lack of, whatever it is, right? The way I dress. My family used to be called the Addams family. So, I don't know. People are funny, right? People are funny. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that this was a place of no judgment. I can't judge you. I know what some people think, and I've been judged.
How long have you had this safe space?
I have been here just over 2 years now, and I love it. Every day that I'm here, I love it more and more. I've actually taken on a couple of different things in the space. We now do card shares once a month, so probably the most inexpensive card reading you're going to get for an investment of $10. We sit here, probably 10 or 12 of us, and we all read for each other and drink tea and laugh and cry, and the cat goes to everybody and makes sure that everybody's good, and it's just a beautiful evening, right?
And so you said that was once a month?
Once a month, yeah. Every fourth Friday, typically, if I'm not out at the racetrack. Because that also has become very, very big in my life as well. I've chosen to sponsor the plates again this year. I did last year.
I remember you mentioning that.
So that's pretty cool. What else? I started doing mediumship in the evenings.
Oh, okay.
And that has taken off very well. Yeah.
Wow. How do you, doing so many different things and doing a lot of these things for other people, how do you protect your energy and yourself?
Well, that's what I have found the most important thing to do when working with a lot of different energy is always making sure that you give it back at the end of the day. So even with you all, when I go for my meditation and my cleansing bath tonight, I'll give all of your energy back and take back what's mine. But in all of this time of sitting here with you all, and I'm getting that energy, I'm shifting everything around. So anything that might come from you that's not necessarily what some people would call good, right? When you get it back tonight, you wake up tomorrow feeling nice and fresh. And so do I, because I take back what's mine. I've left you the goodness, but I still need my energy for tomorrow, for the next people that I help. And the reason I do this is because your story is not mine. I can't carry your story, right? It causes wrinkles for one thing, and I'm not about that. So, but it's true. So giving back is super important. But also when I come into the space, and just as this evening, I cleansed the space before you got here because these have been my days off. different energies in the neighborhood. So I'll cleanse the space before you come in just to make sure that it is safe for you to be here. Right? And then when you leave, I'll stay a few minutes behind and I'll redo that same thing to get your energy out of here so that it's fresh for me tomorrow. And it's just important to do that. So when I get up in the morning when I get here in the morning and cleanse the space, I am protecting this space. And I am protecting myself. Most people that have bad intentions won't cross the threshold. If they get into the space, they typically don't get off the black mat. And that's because of that sign right there.
Please remove all footwear.
That's right.
And
Something I've learned about people that don't remove their footwear. They have bad intentions. And you can take that however you like.
It's interesting. I've never considered that before, but I'm going to look out for that now.
If somebody comes in and goes, oh, I'm not removing my shoes. Well, that tells me that you weren't here pure of heart. You know, also, I know it goes on out there. I don't want it to come in here.
That's very safer that way.
And not just necessarily the uncleanliness aspect of it, but energetically again, you know. It doesn't matter what neighborhood you're in, what city, what town you're in. There's always negativity and maybe some dog poop. Right?
For
Who
sure.
wants that in here?
Yeah, nobody. Especially because you have nice floors and
really
nice
do.
stuff. Yeah,
I really do.
So for people who maybe don't know how to cleanse their space or clean their energy, what are ways you could recommend of kind of giving back energy?
Well, I highly recommend that everybody, pardon me, cleanses their space with a smudge, whether it be smoke or a spray or sound. Most people don't realize that using a bell or like a maraca or something is just sound. Right? It's also very cleansing. Not everybody can burn things. So a smudge might not be beneficial to some people. Some people might be sensitive to smell, so a spray might not be. But almost everybody can handle sound. Some people use Rob Zombie music.
Oh,
They
really?
really do. I have a girlfriend, Rob Zombie music. That's how she cleanses her space.
That's so interesting that you say sound. Because my boyfriend recently got a motorcycle, and he was talking about, I forget what it was called, but there's a superstition with the bell.
Oh, yes.
That someone buys you, like, the bell just to
Yes,
protect
a
you.
guardian bell.
Yes, guardian
Yes.
bell. Thank you. Yeah, and so I bought him one.
Good.
And I've never heard of it before.
Good.
But it was...
I highly recommend. Not only do I gift those to people with bikes, but I also gift them to people that race. So, my partner, guardian bell. Daughter, guardian bell. My son, big jeeper. Definite guardian bell. Definite. Yeah, I highly recommend. I've got bells on the door. At home, there are bells all over the doorways, anywhere that energy can get in. And of course, the big one for the dog to let you know it's got to be. I don't own a dog, but I have
For the cats.
grand dogs.
Just kidding. So you have all the animals then.
Really do. Yeah. Two-legged, four-legged. Yeah.
Two-legged. Do you cleanse spaces every time you come in and come out?
Every single day that I'm here, this space is cleansed. Twice a day, minimum. If not as good energy comes in here, then I do a few witchy things to get energy out, and sometimes those people don't return. I'm just saying.
Sorry, not sorry.
That's right. But there are other ways of also keeping your space clear without getting... when we smudge or use an incense or these kinds of things, some people get a little bit, why are you doing that? Right? So sound is good. or stones. There are different stones, and I'll never tell you that I know a lot about stones because that would be not true. And I do definitely like to base my whole world on my authenticity. And but I know a few things, and I'm learning more and more with the stones. But I highly recommend having selenite in your house. Definitely. It's a constant cleanser of you, objects, the space. That's a good one.
Selenite, you said,
selenite. Yeah, that one I recommend. Quartz crystal is good for most everything. You can use that for everything. Carry tourmaline on your body. Is also very good for protecting yourself.
Okay, thank you. That's very good to know.
If you feel you're going into a space that is maybe you feel like you might get energetically attacked. So sometimes large functions will go to, and you've got some jealous people in the crowd. Or you got people that, well, yeah, we'll just use the word jealous, envious, green-eyed monsters, we could call them, right? Tobacco in your shoes.
I remember you mentioning that last year as well. Yeah, that one, because I had gone home and told my sister about it, and she had heard it before as well.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of chatting about that idea as well.
So as you see, I haven't changed a whole lot then, right?
Well, no, you mentioned the stones this time. I don't think we talked about stones last time. I think that's interesting, though, too, because I mean, to my limited knowledge, stones are pretty big on, like, TikTok and social media.
They are.
And so it's just kind of funny how parts of it, they're like, this is okay, but other parts, it's like, never mind, you know?
What I think about stones, and again, I don't know a lot about them, but energy is energy, and stones come from the earth, and the earth is energy. Right? So every stone has its own property. You just gotta want that knowledge, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right? I do so many other things that the stones weren't really my initiative. They,
Yeah.
they just weren't. My passion doesn't lie in stones. So I want them here for the people that enjoy them. But I really did start the business to share my passion, which is healing yourself, right, in many ways. And that's why I sell a number of herbs that I do, or make the teas or the baths, because I've started making a lot of teas and a lot of baths.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, very much so. I've started making different oils. I've even changed up the rooms here.
Yes, yeah, we know.
So that I have my crafting room to make things, and a room for sessions. So, and in that room now is Reiki and an intuitive reading. And I'm hoping to get a lady who does the, I don't want to be wrong when I say this, QHHT.
Cute.
I'm sure I have a piece of paper that actually says what that means, but it's a quantum hypnosis healing therapy, maybe.
Oh, interesting.
But I could be wrong.
I mean, I believe you, so.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What has been your, or I guess maybe the tea or bath or some oil that you've made that you've been maybe most excited about? Is there one in particular?
My headache tea is phenomenal.
Oh, really?
I gotta say, if I get a headache, I don't even get through my cup and my headache's gone.
Really?
So that's pretty amazing.
Oh, wow.
The road opener tea has been phenomenal. If you find that you have a blockage, if you will, where you're just not getting ahead in life, or maybe you're looking for something new in life, this road opener tea opens a lot of doors for people, for sure, for sure. The affirmation oils are still probably the best thing going in the shop, I would say, because they work.
And how do you use the affirmation oils, if I can ask?
So we usually just put a few drops on our hand, We rub our hands together and we say the affirmation that's on the bottle as we apply up our arms.
Is there a reason for up the arms?
Because we want to receive.
Oh, that makes so
Right?
much sense.
As if you're wanting to receive love, you're wanting to receive finance, right? Whatever it is that you're looking, protection.
And in regards to the recipes, I'm not going to ask for them because you would never
That's
share.
right.
But I'm just curious, where or how did you, are they something that just come to you, or where does the inspiration come from?
Oh, the inspiration just comes. Yes, it just comes to me. Now, again, I can be throwing things together, but I don't want to cause any harm to anyone. So definitely I do some research, and then I look into often my spell books or my herbal books to see what is the best sleep tea, or the best dream tea, or the best psychic tea, and bake that stuff up. Right. Just figure it out.
Is
And
it,
I make each bag individual, so it isn't a big bulk. Everything's small batch. So each bag is individually made so that the measurement is perfect for each and every bag.
oh wow, that must take a lot of time.
It takes a little time, but that's okay. I love it. Like, I just love it. There's just some days where it might be a little bit quiet here, and I lay out the towel, and I do it right there at the counter. So when people come in, they're smelling the herbs or the flowers or whatever. What you doing? Making up some tea. Isn't this lovely? But
So it's all made in store.
it is. It is. You betcha. I made an Aphrodite oil this last year. Oh, my goodness.
It's good?
From what I hear, I don't need it. I have an amazing partner. But, yeah.
Hear that? We'll pick some up for you guys on the way.
Yeah, it is, and it's beautiful. It is, I'm not going to give you the secrets, but I highly recommend that you at least give it a sniff before you leave.
Ooh. They're like, we'll take that pail. I'm just kidding.
2 gallons.
Right? It is, I don't want to tell anybody's story, but a lady did ask for some, and she was looking to make sure her husband was still. And so she was visiting me, and she took some home, and she tried it out. And right away, he was like, hey, what you got there? You're smelling good. So I like that. That's good. That means it works, right? And I love that kind of feedback. He hasn't been able to keep his hands off me.
That's
Perfect,
what
honey.
it does.
That's
Pick
right.
some up today.
Right? Yeah. Did you send a review to my page?
So the oils and the tea, bath, is there anything else that's new to this store?
I have brought in a couple of new practitioners, amazing practitioners. One so amazing that she's gone away with the psychic fair.
Oh, wow.
Hey.
Like, what about me?
Yeah, right. And I still do a little bit of work with the doula. No, I don't think there's a whole lot new in store, really, other than myself staying here late at night doing intuitive work. But I love it. I just love it. Yeah.
Is it ever, I mean, I could be very wrong, but I feel like it would be very draining at times to constantly be using your energy that way.
I had 3 sessions on Sunday night. I close at 5 on Sundays. And I had 3 sessions consecutive. And after the first 2, I was, I'm not sure. And I contacted the lovely lady who wanted to see me. And she goes, no, I really want to see you. And I said, well, okay then. So we ended up doing a video session. And I don't want to tell anybody's story, but this lady she cried almost the whole time because she has been spending thousands of dollars on psychics and mediums to help her with something. And probably in 15 minutes, I told her exactly what she didn't know. I'm not saying that to be boastful. I'm saying that when you're trying to help somebody like that, being authentic is important. And it's not fair for people to take advantage of people that are grieving. Right?
Yeah.
This lady was so very thankful for what I was able to do for her. You know, she said, I would be willing to pay you, I'm willing to pay you $75 an hour, she says, every month just to talk to me.
Aww.
And that touches my heart, because at that point I thought, man, you're being a little bit of a bumhole for not wanting to take that call. That person really needed me. And at the end of the day, again, I'm going to go home and I'm going to have that cleansing bath and I'm going to meditate for my 50 minutes. And all of that goes away, right? And she's going to feel just fine and I'm going to feel just fine and we're going to start again tomorrow. So maybe at some point it might be a little bit on the draining side, but as for right now, I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables for lunch with my mustard, and because I do that thing that girl is doing, and it's really yummy, so
It is.
I lost 8 pounds the first week, so I was like, hey, right on, this is a good way to eat there, Tiffany.
I am missing something. Who's eating? Oh, okay.
I don't know where it is, but
Who's
I said,
eating mustard? And
yeah, she eats
really
mustard
good.
on everything. It really
it's
is.
so good. I love mustard.
Yeah.
I've heard of her as well. I think she does it with like cottage cheese.
Cottage cheese and mustard.
It's so good.
It really is. I got some hearts of palm. I got okra. I got all the things. And I'm like, I'm just doing all the things. So I make myself up a big tray, bring it in every Wednesday. It lasts me all week. It's perfect.
Nice.
My partner brings me supper every night. So.
Aw, that's so cute.
Oh, he's wonderful. Yeah. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him giving me this opportunity.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. Can't talk about it, make me cry.
Oh, I was gonna ask how you met, but
How we met.
yeah,
Oh,
if you don't
that's-
mind sharing it.
Oh, that's a funny story. Well, I'll tell you. But man, if he ever watches this, he'll be like, "Why did you tell that?" We just celebrated our 22nd year
Oh
together.
my goodness!
No kidding.
Congratulations, that's so cute.
Thank you, because that doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't.
We met, I think 3 years before we got together, and I was 386 pounds. So I don't know if maybe he just didn't find me attractive. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. But every time that I'd walk into the lunchroom when we were on the same job, and I'd walk in and I'd be like, hi. And he'd just look at me, and no word of a lie, he'd grab his newspaper, his bagged lunch, and his hard hat, and he'd walk out. He'd never even acknowledge me, and I was like, what a jerk. That's okay. At the time, I didn't realize he was a married man, and that's good. That's a good man. He didn't pay attention to that other woman trying to get his attention. But this went on for, like I say, like 3 years. We'd end up on jobs once or twice a year. So one year I walked up to him and I said, hey, what's your name? And he's taller than me. And he looks down and he says, same as was last year. and he just kept on walking. And I turned and looked at him. And you're going to have to edit this out. I said, well, I didn't know it last year. And I just kept on walking. Well, I ended up getting transferred to Taylor, BC. And sure enough, I'm doing a job at LP Dawson. And I said to my supervisor, who have we got coming in to help with this job? And he says, oh, it's your favorite. It's Dean from Grand Prairie. Now, I've lost 267 3/4 pounds. He had no idea who I was. By the time he figured it out, ladies, it was too late. And here we are, 22 years later.
I hope that had he asked your name, you would have used the same line that he had given
Oh,
you. That
I
would have
really
been so
should
funny.
have, but I'm really not that
Not that
person.
petty.
I'm
Yeah,
really
that's
not.
totally fair.
I was
just
just
so
so into this guy. I was so into this guy. He's got the most beautiful green eyes, and he was wearing these black Carhartts. And I'm sorry, but Carhartts. Should have turned on the air conditioner before that story. And you know, we've had some ups and downs, but that's part of being together and making it through, right? We have his 2 kids, my 2 kids, and a couple other kids. So
That's beautiful.
yeah.
I was talking to a friend's cousin one time, like at a party in the kitchen, and we were talking about what love is, because at this time I hadn't like been in a real relationship, and she had mentioned that love is the person that shows up and never leaves.
That's right.
And that's kind of just stuck with me ever since then. Of
I agree.
things
I
get
agree.
hard, but you have to keep moving through them
Yeah.
together.
And I'm not going to say that we didn't have any bumps in our road. We did. It has been a long journey, but a beautiful journey. And we were blessed to be able to raise our children together. And again, there was some ups and downs, but here we are, right? And he's out racing all of those weekends. I only get 2, but that's okay. And you know, and we support each other, and that's what's important.
Oh, so
is
important.
to support each other.
Yeah.
And yes, to be the person that shows up. Right?
Yeah.
He was in a motorcycle accident. I didn't even take my apron off. I don't even remember driving to the accident. I think I still had on my slippers. And I rushing out of my car. There he is. No word of a lie. He's laying this way. Oops, sorry.
No, you're okay.
On the asphalt, having a smoke. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, pretty sure this is the last cigarette I'm having for a little while, so I'm going to enjoy it. And like, he's got bones hanging out.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, ew. Well, you're okay, I guess. What a guy. Hey.
Not that I know him very well or you very well, but just by the 2 stories I have heard, I feel like it's a match made in heaven.
I gotta tell you, without getting too TMI, the first time that we really got to know each other, I had noticed his birthmark. And I said, what a strange birthmark. And he's like, why? And I said, look at this. And he looks and he's like, what? They're the same.
Oh
They're-
my gosh.
So cute.
So I gotta tell you another story. I hope he doesn't get mad about this. He was a twin. And from what I've been told from his family, that he and his twin had matching birthmarks. And where they were touching in the womb, this one came out with a white birthmark and this one came out with a dark birthmark. And that little boy passed away when they were infants, which was before I was born.
My goodness. Wow.
So,
Like the whole twin flame thing.
Yeah.
you know, it's something like that. And, you know, like I say, we've had our ups and downs. But those 2 marks still always come back together. And I had taken a spiritual journey this spring. And I had reached out to whoever it was that kept me alive through all of my years of suicidal thoughts. And that's who came to me.
Wow.
Because he didn't want his brother to be alone, is what I was told. Isn't that something? Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah. That's so beautiful.
And because of his mom passing is how I got the store. So
It's funny how the universe works.
right, and she was spiritual. She was quite religious, and so I had an intuitive reading last December, and the lady that did my reading said, "Your mother-in-law is in the space." how come you don't let her roam around? And I'm like, I just thought she liked standing over there, so I just kind of thought that's where she wanted to be. She goes, let her roam around. Tell her she's free to roam the space. Well, as soon as I did that, now I hear her walking on the floor and stuff. So I don't want to weird people out, but if you have a belief system of any kind and you believe that spirit is here, you can feel them when you walk in the room.
So you just provide a safe space for everyone then?
Everyone. I've had spirit come to me because they just needed somebody to find them. I've had spirit come in here, next thing you know, a young woman will come through the door and say, I need to have a session with you. I lost so-and-so and I don't know how to deal with it. And then all of a sudden I realize why it is that I've been having the different things go on that I have had, whether it's a smell or a feeling or whatever. And I experienced some things just over a month ago that were terrifying to me, and I was in a headspace that was not mine. And I was having very bad thoughts of self-harm. And sure enough, a young lady walks in and says, I need to see you. There's a problem. And she had lost her brother. So I had been smelling a gentleman in the store. And men, as you know, have a different smell than women. It's very pheromone-y, sweaty. And I just kept like, what is that smell? Like, why do I keep smelling a dude in here? and those thoughts. And so when she came in, all of that had went away from me. So then I knew he was here because he had a message for her, and somehow she ended up here. I love it. Creepy, but love it.
Never a dull moment.
No, not here.
I remember you mentioning last year that you'll always, because I think before you didn't do readings for other people.
No, I did not.
But you had said if there was a message that someone else needed, you would give them that message.
Yes.
And we were talking about that on the way here, because I was like, just your aura and your energy, I don't know anything about it, so I don't mean to speak like incorrectly or anything, but it's just so calming and kind and peaceful. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
And it's, we just talked about that, so
That's
I wanted
lovely.
to mention that.
I've had people that come here just to drink the tea.
No.
Like, can I help you find something? Just a cup of tea, Tammy, and they'll come and sit here. And, since I seen you last year, I had lost another family member after seeing you.
So sorry.
That's okay. It wasn't your fault. But I will tell you, I have a different vision on death. It used to scare me. And I was to be racing that day. And my family had been out at the track that weekend. My daughter stopped at my house on Saturday morning while I was getting ready. And she says, what are you doing? I said, I can smell toast. She looked at me. And of course, both of us being trained in first aid, she said, are you okay? And I said, oh, I'm fine. And she says, no. Do you know what that means? I said, yeah, I'm not so old that I forgot. Yeah, I know what that means. And I said, the neighbors have got company or something. They're probably making breakfast. And she looked at me kind of funny, just geographically where everybody was. And it had lasted, probably a couple hours that I had smelled it. And I remember being at this store here, on my way to the store, and I had sharp pain in my chest. And I was just like, oh, that's terrible. And then it went away. And at 11:11, I had messaged my daughter. It was 11:11. She said, how are you feeling? I said, well, I had a little bit of pain on my way here, but I'm good now. All right. All day I was fine. And then Sunday I went out to race. And at probably about 4:20 in the afternoon, my partner came to me and he said, are you ready to go down the track, Grandma? And I said, no. And he looked at me and he says, really? How come? I said, I don't know, but I think I'll die. He looked at me, he says, what? I said, if I go down that track in my car today, I will die. And he looked at me, he says, okay. I'm not gonna push it. He says, would you like to come with me? I said, you're not hearing me. If I go down that track today, I die. It doesn't matter what I'm in. So he said, okay, I'm gonna do a couple passes and I'm gonna change my tires. And I said, all right. And I grabbed my coffee cup and I started to head to my pit, but I ended up at somebody else's pit. But as I'm walking across the field, I hear nothing. I do not hear a race car. I do not hear wrenches. I do not hear children. I hear nothing. And the motocross was going that weekend too. Nothing. I was deaf. I also didn't feel my feet on the ground. But I knew I was going across that field. And I ended up at my girlfriend's. I sat down for what felt like, I don't know, minutes and minutes, but it was probably only seconds. And then all of a sudden I just kind of gave my head a shake, and it was 4:55, and I grabbed my bag that was sitting on the floor, or on the ground, and I walked over to my trailer, got in my car, came to town like nothing. I picked up the truck, went back, picked up the other race car, and came home and had dinner. Went to sit outside for, my partner is a smoker, so we were sitting outside. And my mother phoned, and she asked me if I was at home, and I said yes. She said, are you alone? I said, no. Are you sitting? I said, yes. She said, good, because your uncle died at about 4:30 this afternoon.
Oh my goodness.
So when I was floating across the field is while he was dying. And so I got to experience that death. So I went to his brother and where he lived, and I went to the washroom where he was, and I sat with him. And honestly, that was the most peaceful I've ever seen a person look ever. He just fell asleep. And I looked at him. Don't think I'm an please. I said, well, look at you. I said, coming into this world all wet and naked and leaving this world all wet and naked. Because he was my protector my whole life. And now he was gone. And I just sat there with him. Talked to him. Kissed him. Loved him. Just as he did to me when I was a baby. And then I just wasn't as afraid anymore. Because it was beautiful. And not a lot of people get that experience. And it was probably right around that time that I realized that I was probably supposed to be helping people in other ways. I've even considered maybe taking a death doula course.
And, sorry, a death doula would
Help people to
help
pass
people
away.
to pass away. Okay. That's what I thought it was, but I just wanted to clarify.
My dad had passed away on the 27th of January last year. And no word of a lie. My uncle passed on the 27th of August. And right up until the 27th of January this year, death came through that door at least every 10 days. Last year was a very, very trying year for me. And I think if I can get past last year, I can get past anything.
That's a great outlook to have.
You know, because we have our slow days in retail, in any business. And the best way to get past that slow day is to realize that it doesn't stay slow, it doesn't stay bad, and tomorrow means something better. If today's quiet, tomorrow's going to be noisy. And that's just the way I need to look at it, and anybody in business should. It never stays bad. If I could have a physical conversation with the people that I've lost, especially to suicide, I would tell them it doesn't stay bad. It always gets better. It really does. So anybody that ever has those thoughts, it really gets better. 8 out of 10 people that survive will say it was the biggest regret they ever had. So it always gets better.
I think that's a beautiful message, which is hard maybe to see in the moment, but like you said, coming out of it and being able to see that it was a regret or not actually the way you were supposed to go.
That's right. When I was having those not good thoughts recently, it was kind of not funny, but a little bit funny, because I knew those weren't my thoughts, because I know.
Yeah.
Right? I know my ex passed away that way. I've had many friends pass away that way. It seems like that's all I deal with is people that passed away that way. And honestly, if there's just one thing, it doesn't stay bad. It just doesn't. And spirit will come and let me know too that I'm making a bad choice, right? I just wish people just knew it doesn't stay bad.
Is that maybe the advice that you would give folks?
That would be the advice for sure that I would give, is if you're having those thoughts, reach out, because you're not a burden. You really aren't. You have way more friends than you realize, and way more of your friends would rather talk to you at 3 in the morning than have to go to your funeral. And the guy that doesn't answer, that's not really your friend. You know, I've known of a lot of people that just keep making a phone call, but the funny thing is they don't say why they're making that phone call. They never say, I'm calling because I'm having a low moment. They'll call you with some crazy story, hey? And then you just let them off the phone. Not everybody knows the cues.
Yeah.
So when your phone rings in the night,
You
answer it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because you just never know what a person's going through. You really don't. I wave at people often. I smile at people often. Because I've been in a place inside of my own self that, for all I know, that smile, that wave, when I'm driving down resources, that just might have made that person's day. And that might have made them want to stay going one more day. Because I know that I'm not the world to everybody. I know I'm not. But I am to at least 2 people. Do you know what I mean? To my children, I'm probably the world. But to the world, I'm really not anybody. So I just want that message out there. They've always got a set of fresh ears right here. I'm always willing to talk to somebody. I'll do anything to keep you above ground. I really will.
I think that's exactly what the world needs more of. You know,
I agree.
And it's beautiful to be able to take that time, because your time is important. And I think sometimes people, you know, they don't want to be that burden. They don't want to be that thing. But for you to open yourself up in that way, it's so
because
kind.
I have struggled. To be completely honest, I spent close to 40 years wanting to be on the other side more than this side. And I don't talk about things that I don't know. I just don't. Because that loses your authenticity when you start BSing people about things you don't know.
I don't know you super well because we've only known each other like for the few times that we've seen each other, but
Sorry.
that's okay.
I told you.
Yeah, when you're in here, you couldn't see, but someone just tried to come in.
Candy saw her buddy.
Oh, I see. They like the space. They wanted to come say
Oh,
hi.
yeah. She likes to come and say hi.
Oh.
She brings me dried flowers, all kinds of lovely things. I had a lady sit here last year and do this cross stitch for me.
It says, when you visit a witch, bring an offering, food, tobacco, alcohol, secrets. Can we say that in PG?
Maybe not.
And more.
So I have definitely scratched out the D word. That didn't sound good either.
It's not what you think.
The not alive word.
There you go.
And put plants instead.
Nice.
Oh.
Because I dealt with so much death last year that I just wanted plants. Plants is life.
Bring more life. Plants.
Bring plants.
Do you have a favorite plant?
No, not really. Any plant. Any one that I can keep alive. That's the one I like.
These are always good. My mom likes plants a lot.
I have a lot of plants. I don't have a super green thumb, but they seem to survive.
Oh, yeah, you look great.
Yeah,
Yeah, they seem to survive.
they survive. They know you have a lot of other things going on too, so they understand.
And it's a beautiful space for plants, really.
Oh, yes, yeah. And when the light will come in, yeah, absolutely.
I had this winter, I had a lovely lady bring me in 9 coleus. So I was just giving plants away to people when they came into the store.
Like, thank you so much for coming in.
thanks for
Take a
coming in.
plant.
Have a
Take a
plant.
plant. Take a
Do you like
plant.
plants? Here, have a plant.
Too. Chickens. That's so funny.
Yeah.
That must be nice though, having, you know, your regulars and people who come in.
My frequent flyers.
Your frequent flyers,
Yeah.
I like, yeah.
My frequent flyers.
What would you say is the most rewarding part of your work?
The community. It is the community. It's not necessarily what I can do, but the people that come in to see me. Because I don't look at success as monetary. I look at success and profitability as sometimes just the education that we get some days. If I have a day that a retail person would call slow, but I've sat here and I've maybe had talk therapy or counseled somebody for 2 hours, just sitting here at the front of the store, that to me was profitable. Because I learned something. I was able to help someone, and it's not always about monetary gain. It's just about being able to be here for somebody. You know, I had a lady walk in here just a week ago that was so down that had she not come to see me, she probably wouldn't be here this week. And that's all she needed to know was, it doesn't stay bad.
It's so touching that you can provide a space for people like that and take the time for them.
That's it. Do you hear how loud it is in here? So loud. Okay? This is how I have it all the time. If you were to walk in and I had music going, which is very rare, if you did, I would shut that off right now. And you'd say, it's okay, Tammy. Leave it playing. And I'd say, oh, it really isn't. And the reason for that is, when you come in here, you're here for a reason. It might be to buy something, but more often than not, you needed somebody to talk to. If there's a bunch of ugly noises going on, I'm not going to give you all my attention because I'm listening to that great song playing, or vice versa. You're not going to tell me your whole story because you're enjoying that song. But if you don't have a song or all that pinging, them weird little pinging noise, I don't mind them, but not here. You know? I'm here to provide you all this safe space, to give you my attention, right? Because for the short time that I'm going to carry that story, I want to be able to help you. Because you're going to come back and say, hey, remember we were talking about this yesterday? No. I really don't. No, I washed that away last night. Sorry.
Like, remember when you gave me 3 cooleuses?
It's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not about monetary gain. It's about sharing your passion, loving what you do.
Yeah. Which I think is, for me at least, so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, noticeable, but not noticeable, like a stronger word than noticeable. Apparent, maybe? Like, it's so, yes, thank you, apparent. Which is so apparent in your space, because it's a reflection from the limited knowledge that I have on you, but of what you're all about and what you're here not only to do for people, but just that opening and willingness for other people to bring things to you.
Right.
Like, I don't know, I just think it's really beautiful that you have this space.
Me too. And it's a lot like my home. If you were to come into my home, which I even thought, well, maybe I should just have them come to my house, but there's a lot of cats there. But it is. If you were to go into my home, you'd be like, oh, well, this is a lot like your store. It just is. That's how I want it. I want you to walk in feeling like you're at your favorite auntie's, like you're at your grandma's house. That's the feel I want. I want you to come in, take off your shoes, and just feel like, oh man, I'm home. That's what I want. I want you to be comfortable. I want you to feel safe and secure. And it's super important to me. And I don't want to be aesthetics, right? I don't want to be a box store. I don't want to be retail. I want to be here and really teach people things and support them.
Because you're not retail, you know, and the more I think about it, I'm like, no one's retail. They all just kind of like act like they are, you know? Like, if you think about it, I'm like, interesting.
Right.
We could have so many more authentic, specific stores as opposed to just a bunch of copy and paste.
Right. I was asked to join a wellness expo in Dawson Creek, and I chose to not because I didn't want to close my store, for one thing. I really like being here. On the weekends that I do close for, like, say, long weekends or racing or car shows, I'm just like, man, I can't wait to get back to the store.
Aww.
Really, I just love being here. We'll have card share nights, and we're done at like 11 o'clock. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm just going to hang out till midnight anyway. I don't care. I just love being here.
And I think that just shows that you're doing the right thing, you know?
I'm not going to lie. I had a stumble, and I thought maybe this wasn't it. Maybe I was mistaken. Maybe I wasn't supposed to be here. I don't know. I don't know where I was. I was just in a spot. And then I thought, no, this is where I'm supposed to be because nobody else is doing it. Right? This is why I'm here. There isn't going to be another me. There'll never be another shop like this because this is me. It really is.
And people appreciate the you.
I believe so. And because I was getting down on myself, energy is truly real. And when I start getting down, business started getting slow. Change your attitude. Poof, business picks back up. Right? So everybody should think that way.
Yeah.
What you're feeding the universe is truly what you're going to get. So if all you think about is what you're lacking, then all you're going to get is what you're lacking. Just a whole bunch more of what you're lacking. But if you're grateful and appreciative of all of the beautiful things around you, you just get more of those beautiful things. We all should think that way. I need to practice what I preach more too.
Gotta receive.
Right?
Up
Gotta receive.
beyond.
That's
Receiving
right.
the good.
That's right.
I'm
That's
learning.
right. And be open to that, to receiving the things. Look for the messages, because they're always there. The magic is right here. We all possess it.
So in this beautiful space, where do you hope to see it in like 5 years?
Bigger.
Bigger?
Yeah.
Like this space specifically, or like maybe a new space but bigger?
I don't know that I can expand this space so much. I love this space. It's the patio, really. It's really the patio. But the reality of it is I love the size of my space. I think I would like to go bigger because I would like to not go much bigger than this, but have rooms for other things. But as far as the retail aspect of it, I love it right here. If I could build something up above, I'd never leave.
Uh-oh.
I'm pretty sure the landlord's not going to go for that, but...
You never know. Convince them.
And because I'm locked into this space for quite some time, I actually don't put a whole lot of thought into not being here. And next thing I know, it's going to be time, and I'm going to be, oh, what do I do? Mm-hmm. Because I don't want to give it up. It's not something that I plan on ever stopping. Mm-hmm. To be honest, I'd like to buy a little old house, about 130 years old, and start my business there.
Ooh, that would be really nice.
Yeah, but I got to make sure that they all come with me.
Hey, everyone, get ready.
Right, right. But honestly, honey, I don't put a lot of thought into that. I'm here for another 3 years, and I love this space. So, come back and see me. Keep asking me that question. It'll make me light a fire under my butt. But I don't know. I have asked him about renting that space as well. It's a huge space. Mm-hmm. And there is only one witch beneath the hat, and that's me. So going too big, no. Yeah. I'm not about it. It would lose its authenticity. It would lose its passion. And I'm not about that at all. I want it to stay what it is. I want you to be able to walk in here next year, the year after, and feel the same every time you're here. That's what I want.
And then last question, what would you say is the best piece of advice you've received throughout your life?
Bad question. I told you last year I can't tell you.
I know. Thought we could get you.
No,
That's
no, because you'd have to edit it out. And then it would just be a bunch of... What was it? But I would say, close this year by saying, do remember what I said. It never stays bad. It really doesn't. And just the things that I've learned over the last year, that's probably my best advice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. We just finished up with Tammy. So how did you like it?
I loved her so much. Like, I was so excited, and she just genuinely, like, we had talked about this off and on camera, but she just is so calming and peaceful. And I just felt like she had mentioned this as well, but like, it feels like you're at an aunt's house or something like that. Like, it just felt so relaxed and like open, which I genuinely enjoyed, and I loved talking to her on and off camera. So that was so awesome. But
yeah, going off of what Sahar says, like, I feel like life gets so busy, and especially when we're traveling from place to place, it's so much fun and we talk to so many people, but it's very go, go, go. And just sitting down for a conversation with her, it's like everything drops, but not in a bad way, just in a way of, I feel myself being grounded and more aware and calm. So grateful for her for sharing her space and her stories and her energy with us. It was wonderful.
And she has more stories, so check her out at Beneath the Witch's Hat, guys.